All right, welcome everybody to the first video in a series of videos that I'll be releasing focused on multi-cloud network architectures. My name is Dana Yanch and I'm a sales engineer at Aviatrix. If you haven't heard of Aviatrix, don't worry about it. By the end of this series, you'll be an absolute pro. You'll know everything we have to offer and all about the organization, and you'll be just as excited about cloud networking architecture with Aviatrix as I am. Let me just quickly tell you a little bit about my background. I've spent the last 10 years absolutely obsessed with network architecture. I started out with campus LAN, moved into data center, moved into wide area networking and service provider networking, and most recently, I've spent the last 3 years or so as a global technical solutions architect with Viptela Cisco, focused on SD-WAN architecture. I've traveled the world for Cisco, talking to all sorts of organizations in every vertical, seeing all sorts of architectures, complex, simple, crazy architectures. This is my obsession, is just architecture and ensuring that the organizations that I'm working with truly understand the importance of architecture when it comes to their business and ensuring that their business thrives through all these shifts and changes in the industry. And now that the center of gravity has shifted away from on-prem into the cloud, so has my career. And so here I am representing Aviatrix, talking to you all about what we're bringing to the industry when it comes to multi-cloud network architectures. This is my first YouTube channel that's focused on technical stuff. I actually had another YouTube channel that was car stuff. Don't go looking for it. But yeah, I had another one at one point, and here I am with a technical focused one. I want this to be fun. This channel isn't directly associated with Aviatrix, and you're going to realize that I'm a very casual dude. I'm just a straightforward talker, and we're going to have discussions. I want you guys to all be involved in these discussions. I want you to send me comments and questions, and you can add me to LinkedIn and start asking me for certain videos. We're going to make this a collaborative thing, but in the end goal is to build a multi-cloud network architecture live and prove how it can be done through a proper solution, a proper platform like Aviatrix. It's super interesting. You guys are going to love it. So give me some thumbs up, subscribe, give me some comments, and let's get started. So let's start at the basics. Why is architecture for cloud networking critical to begin with? Well, the best way to explain this is through the simple analogy of building a house. You'll all understand it. When you're planning on building a house, what are you thinking about? Are you thinking about those cool hardwood floors you're going to get around? Are you going to think about the light fixtures? You're going to think about the bathroom, toilet that you're going to get, one of those cool toilets that spray your butt with water that you have in Japan. I mean, I love those. They're freaking awesome. But no, really, you're not thinking about those things. You're thinking about the foundation of your house. You're thinking about the framing and the interior design and the backyard and maybe the size of the garage because you want to fit all your cool cars in the garage, right? You're thinking about those important things. And you're also thinking ahead about what's going to happen in the future. Maybe today you have 2 kids and a dog, and in the future you plan to have 10 kids and a dog. I mean, I don't know how you're going to handle 10 kids and a dog. I have a dog and I can't even handle this dog. But you need to plan for this, the future of what's going to happen and how you're going to scale out the architecture of this house. So no, you're not thinking about those little features. No, those are just features, right? In the house, the doorknobs and all that stuff. You're not thinking about that. You should not even be thinking about that at all. Down the line, maybe you can think about those things, but for now, they're not important. They can always be added later. It's the same thing in networking. You need to think about the architecture of the network. You need to think about the core and the access, and there's different environments in an architecture. We'll talk about those here in a bit on how to architect those perfectly so that they scale, so that they're highly horizontally scalable and redundant, and they support the functionality that and the requirements of your business for now and for the future. I can't tell you how many times I've had to walk into a discussion with a network architect, in air quotes, that was just solely focused on a single feature in a platform that I was talking to them about. And they totally disregarded the overall architecture of the platform or the architecture that they're trying to achieve with the platform. They totally was just don't even think about it. And they, would talk all day long about this feature and that feature. And great, yeah, those are cool, but in the end, it's not going to get you or your business where you need to be. And the best feeling was coming back after like several months after they finally realized that architecture was more important, and then having that sit down architecture whiteboard design clinic with them and really seeing their eyes light up when they realize how important architecture was. So we need to focus on architecture so that our businesses can scale, so that no matter what happens in the industry, the network will never be the bottleneck. It'll always be a relevant component of the business, that it's modular, that it supports change control, and that it's repeatable, and that it's flexible, and it provides agility to the business. If you've been in networking for any period of time, you would know that organizations like Cisco and VMware have published reference architectures and validated design guides for their physical and their virtual infrastructures, their private clouds, their on-premise style environments, and that these architectures have been proven to work through many years and with many customers. A lot of smart guys got together to make these. So why until now has nobody really sat down and done the same thing for cloud networking? It's like we just jumped into cloud networking so quickly and nobody thought about architecture. We just started bolting on things and throwing things together and stitching stuff together. Nobody thought through what would happen in the future when we had to scale out or when we had to go multi-cloud. And that's what's happening. Everything is moving to cloud, so now scale is going crazy. And we're moving to multi-cloud as organizations realize that there's benefits of having workloads in different clouds or moving between clouds. And it's getting more and more complex. The problem is that all of these different CSPs, cloud service providers, are doing networking completely different from each other. They all have different rules, and the way they do it is different. There's no parity and there's no consistency. And we're actually seeing that as becoming really difficult for our customers. We're walking into these customer environments and looking at, number one, they had no cloud architecture to begin with. And so it's all over the place. There's no continuity, there's no consistency in their network. And now they're being forced into other cloud environments and they just can't handle the complexity behind it. Yeah, they may have automated a good amount of what they did in AWS, but now it's completely different in Azure. And that automation, those scripts that they had before are no longer relevant. And it's a huge overhaul to go and change all this. So to us, number one, it makes sense to have a multi-cloud network architecture that works across all clouds, but also it's common sense to have an orchestrator, like an abstraction level, an abstraction layer that can take care of all the underlying complexity between your clouds. And Aviatrix is doing that for 400 plus organizations today. We've validated an architecture across 400 plus organizations today using our platform to ensure that there's consistency and continuity and second day operational benefits of having this type of platform in place. We're going to go into that here momentarily. But I hope you guys realize the gap that we have today and that there is a solution for it. Before we move on to looking at the MCNA and providing the solution to all your problems, I want you to first think about the issues you're encountering today in your cloud, or that you may encounter as you move from single region to multi-cloud, multi-region, right? As it gets more and more and more complex. What are you running into and what do you expect to run into? Now, we've collected a massive list of all the issues that we're seeing in the real world and that we're helping solve with our solution. But there's a couple here just to get your mind thinking. So what about connectivity between VPCs and VNets? How do you handle this in a scalable manner, right? Through peering. How do you handle the route propagation when you're doing these types of peerings? What about transit connectivity? Building a hub and spoke network between VPCs and VNets, or between your VPC and VNet and your on-prem, or from your VPC and VNet to your transit, and from your transit to a third party or an extranet or an SD-WAN edge. How are you inserting services like next generation firewalls, and how are you ensuring end-to-end encryption is in place? What about next day visibilities, day two operations visibility stuff like flow reports, NetFlow type stuff, logging, alerting, visibility of the health of the network, right? How are you handling that? And then what about the skill gap? As you move from whether it's a relatively simple cloud to a more complex regional cloud to a super complex multi-cloud network, how are you going to scale that from a skill gap perspective? It's very rare to find an individual who has skills for networking across all these clouds or several of the clouds that you may be leveraging. There's some guys on LinkedIn that would put it in their title that they do multi-cloud networking and whatnot, but the truth is finding somebody who really has had a true experience, not just touching it for a day or two or going through a certification process, is very rare and it's very expensive. And having them stay up to date with what's happening and at the rapid pace these cloud service providers are moving it's nearly impossible and very expensive. And so really the only way to handle this is through some sort of abstraction, to abstract the complexity via a controller architecture. And so this is what we've been doing for 5+ years. We've really sat down to understand all the cloud native constructs and built a solution that orchestrates it all for you. And also come up with this MCNA, to ensure that this solution will work for you today and into the future, that your organization will never falter because of a change to your cloud networking requirements. So Aviatrix has an incredible group of individuals working together. When I joined this organization, I was just blown away by the caliber of people on my team and working with me in the solution architects team and in the engineering and development team and just the thought leaders within the organization. It's unbelievable. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a nice Canadian. I am a nice Canadian and I do say nice things, but this is a true from like straight from my heart. These guys are unbelievably intelligent and just I love working with them. And you'll see as I introduce and show you the use cases and the architecture that Aviatrix is bringing to the industry, you'll really see those talents. You'll see them shine, obviously, okay? So let's jump into the architecture, the MCNA, and talk a little bit about that. The MCNA is broken out into 3 components, 3 layers: the cloud core, the cloud access, and cloud operations. I want you to guess what's in cloud core. I'm not gonna be able to hear you, right? Of course, but I know you're a bunch of smart people and you're gonna get this right. I want you to also think about what's in cloud access and what's in cloud operations. Oh, come on, cloud operations is a simple one. You're gonna get that one 100%, right? Some of these other ones, maybe there's little things here and there you may not have caught, but let's look at it now. There we go, bam, the answers. So cloud core, let's start there. Similar to your core networking on-prem, this is where we have routing occurring, right? Where we have our access aggregation, our core routing. We have service insertion, whether it's a layer 4 or a next generation firewall. We have load balancers. We have the internet ingress and egress. We have workloads sitting here, including the storage and the backend components of it. We have pretty much multi-cloud connectivity occurring here as well, the end-to-end encryption. This is the core of your cloud network. Super straightforward and makes sense. Cloud access, I would say, is a challenge for a lot of organizations, figuring out the most efficient way to enter, ingress, and egress the cloud and make this scalable and handle the routing. So this is where we connect your on-prem data centers or your branches or partners into your cloud, or even users, directly through a VPN client. What about SD-WAN? Everybody's talking about SD-WAN, right? I'm kind of done with that life. I spent the last 6 years doing SD-WAN. I'm kind of sick of it, but it's still a relatively big thing, and people are trying to figure out, well, now SD-WAN, it's more important to connect my SD-WAN to the cloud than it is to on-prem. And there has to be a way to do that efficiently. Same thing goes for traditional connectivity through MPLS or layer 2 connectivity into the cloud. And then we have functionalities like Direct Connect and Express Route and interconnects to give you direct access into your cloud environments. So this is just basically how you get in and out of the cloud. What we have on top of that is the cloud operations. We can't forget about how important it is to have automation, orchestration, and visibility and complete control over all of these different cloud networks. We can't just throw together a bunch of stuff and make it route and throw it into production. It doesn't work that way, right? I mean, people are doing that, and that's why there's a market, for organizations like Aviatrix, because people did it wrong. But they didn't realize that there has to be the same level of visibility that you've been used to for the last 30 years on-prem, but have that also in the cloud. And so the architecture should support logging and full visibility and troubleshooting tools like packet capture and flow analysis and out-of-band management and capacity planning and alerting. Like there's just so many components of operations that have been missed in cloud networking that need to be dealt with now. And so the Aviatrix platform deals with all of this, all of it end to end. All the complexity of everything you see on the screen here is dealt for you with the solution. And we're going to build it out together. I'm not just going to sell you on Aviatrix as a platform through me giving you a sales presentation, right? That's not what I'm all about. If you know me in real life, I'm actually like, let's spin it up, let's do it, let's throw some stuff together, let's build some crazy labs, and like, what happens when you do this or when you do that? Like, how does the routing change? Like, that's how I am, right? So we're gonna spend more time over the next set of videos that I release just in the platform building out a multi-cloud network architecture. All of the layers and components of the MCNA that I just showed you on the previous slide and the services and where they fit in the architecture are relevant to organizations leveraging a single region in a single cloud, multiple regions within a single cloud, and then even more relevant when it comes to multiple clouds that are being leveraged. And then it gets crazier if you're talking about multiple regions across multiple clouds. Just imagine the additional complexity every time you bolt on another region or another cloud. You have to deal with all the routing and segmentation, everything, visibility end to end. It starts to get crazy. Now, if you aren't multi-cloud today, I absolutely guarantee it that your organization will be in the near future. If you're a network architect or a cloud architect or a business leader worth your salt, you'll realize how important it is to plan for the future. And you'll realize that it's the business that's driving these decisions and that it's going to happen. There's not a single organization that we've talked to that has said, oh, we're just sticking with a single cloud. We don't want to hear about any other cloud. Just imagine how dumb that is, right? It's putting all your eggs in one basket. No organization even does that today from a on-prem perspective. They have solutions from all sorts of vendors, right? Solutions from Cisco and Juniper. You might be using a Juniper firewall and a Cisco switch and router and I don't know, something else, right? There's all sorts of different vendors because we want to pick the best of breed and not put all our eggs in one basket. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing every customer we talk to have some footprint in all clouds or in multiple clouds. Now, it might not be 50-50, it might be 80-20 or 84 or 80-20, I can't even do math, 80-20 or 70-30, right? It's kind of all over the place. But the point is that the moment you step foot in another cloud, you now have to deal with additional complexity that your scripts or your orchestration that you were using in the past just can't deal with or needs to be completely redone. There has to be some way to do this gracefully, and there is. And so that's through the use of some sort of abstraction layer. So we need to have a common network abstraction layer for multi-cloud connectivity. We need to come up with a common multi-cloud control, data, and operations plane. This is what Aviatrix specializes in, and this is what we've done, and we've killed it in the industry doing this. We're the only ones who do this to the scale that we do it, and who've actually penetrated the market with this type of solution. And so it's pretty straightforward, actually. You know, real high level, we have a controller, an intelligent controller that's just an instance that gets spun up in your cloud, and then you get access to it and you onboard your cloud workloads, right? You just like give it the API credentials, you give it access to your clouds, and then it can now program the MCNA architecture and the workflows across different clouds for you. And it's repeatable, and it supports Terraform and other types of orchestration mechanisms so that this can be done at scale. Now, the controller doesn't just leverage the native cloud constructs. Yeah, of course, we're programming everything that you can imagine from a networking perspective that GCP, AWS, OCI, and Azure and all these guys support. But we're also augmenting the network with additional tool sets and visibility and high throughput encryption and routing and all sorts of additional benefits through our service nodes or gateways. And so this is just another instance that gets spun up in your VPC, whether it's a transit VPC or a workload VPC or on-prem. These gateways or service nodes, they augment the functionality of the cloud. And that's actually kind of what we're going to go through when we build the MCNA. We're going to leverage all sorts of these service nodes by bringing them into the network and turning on different services. And what I want to do, what we're going to do is actually have like a fake uh, uh, organization. We'll call it like Acme or something, right? And Acme organization is going to keep getting these requirements from the business. And we're going to have to manipulate and modify the network so that it meets the business requirements. And you're going to see how this can all be accomplished through the Aviatrix cloud orchestration solution. Let me give you a sneak peek of just some of the workflows we're going to walk through together as we build out this multi-cloud network architecture. And then going forward, I'm just going to say MCNA because saying multi-cloud network architecture 150,000 times throughout the next 30 plus videos is going to drive me nuts and probably drive you nuts as well. So MCNA it is. As you may or may not know, the Aviatrix controller has a bunch of built-in workflows to make your life easier and to abstract complexity when deploying specific use cases across these different cloud environments. And so as we walk through this and do them together, I'm going to constantly refer back to the multi-cloud network architecture diagram, which I'll show you here in a second, and show you how each one of these relates and how we augment and add additional functionality to the cloud for you to make everything a unified architecture across all of the different cloud environments. And so it doesn't matter what we're doing, whether it's intelligent orchestration, multi-account orchestration, high performance encryption, connectivity of branch to cloud or on-prem to cloud or users to cloud or secure ingress, egress, network segmentation, layer 7 service insertion of next generation firewalls. It doesn't matter what we're doing. I'm going to continually refer back to the MCNA. So let's take a look at our MCNA diagram so you see what I'm talking about here. And here's what you've all been waiting for. This is the Aviatrix multi-cloud network architecture. And what you see on here probably looks familiar at this point because we just spent the last 20 minutes talking about these different core components of the MCNA. The repeatable architecture, the visibility and control, the secure access, and the simplified operations, and everything that comes underneath all these different things. Now, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this slide because really we're going to come back to it constantly. Every time we deploy a component of the MCNA, we're going to come back here and show you how it is relevant to this overall reference architecture. And lastly, I need a starting point for this MCNA build out. We're building this from scratch together, right? But I still need a reference point. I still need something to point to articulate what I'm trying to do as we build out the MCNA. So this is a good starting point document. I like to use this with my customers just to get the idea of MCNA out to them so they really understand what I'm talking about when I'm presenting to them. But this diagram shows multiple clouds. We have Azure, GCP, AWS. We can throw in other clouds like OCI if we want. We have different environments. We have a secure environment and a non-secure environment. We have an encrypted environment and a non-encrypted environment. We have on-prem connectivity and branch connectivity and extranet connectivity. We can even bolt on an SD-WAN pod if you guys want. I still have some SD-WAN routers that I stole after I left Cisco, before I left Cisco. No, I didn't steal them. They're mine. I have them here. So we can leverage these routers to build SD-WAN connectivity and really anything you want. Just throw me some ideas. We're going to go through every single use case that Aviatrix has and every functionality that Aviatrix has up to date. And every time a new one comes out, I'll make sure that you guys are aware of it. But if you have some ideas that you want to throw at me, just let me know and we'll do it. We'll throw it in there and have some fun with it. All right. Now I know in this video, this intro video, we didn't go into any depth on the UI. We didn't deploy any use cases. We didn't configure anything. But that's the good stuff. I'm holding that good stuff. I'm saving that good stuff for the next set of videos. So just get excited. I know you're excited because I'm excited, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun. So buckle up and like and share, subscribe, get this out there. Let's have some fun.